Joining us now is Julie Garneau, Senior Director, Head of NFTs, Blockchain, and Metaverse at Anheuser-Busch. Hello.
Hello, thank you for having me.
So before the break, I said we were going to pour a beer in the Metaverse, and everyone looked very confused. So please tell me, what is a beer company doing in the Metaverse?
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of challenges in how we want to sort of integrate into the Metaverse. In general, we're really thinking about Web3 more broadly and what that can mean for us. And really, we're always talking about community and how we can build community. And I'm sure all the brands are saying the same thing. And there's like the holy grail of marketing of how do I unlock one-to-one relationships with consumers. And we're trying to figure out what that will mean. And so we're really wanting to stay ahead of what's happening in Web3 because the companies that were ahead of the social media platforms before they sort of really grew tremendously and knew how to leverage that power, I think we're set up for success. And we're trying to do the same with Web3. We're just trying to stay involved, learn. My team is dedicated thinking about Web3, and I think that shows our commitment to learn and figure out how to evolve as Web3 evolves.
And so much of Web3 philosophically is very at odds with kind of traditional way of doing business and kind of corporate way, right? A lot of it is around decentralization and power to the users and kind of sharing of the upside with your community. And so how did you have to adjust internally to kind of embrace both what you have to do corporate entity and embrace Web3 in a very authentic way?
Yeah, and I think that from a consumer and brand perspective, there is a whole spectrum of what is very overtly Web3, what is direct NFT ownership, what requires a wallet and understanding what a wallet is, and what is, on the other end, seeing Web3 as an enabling technology. And in our journey at Anheuser-Busch, we started with the drop of Budweiser Heritage Collection and other NFT collections, a whole roadmap to pay back utility and benefits to our consumers. And we've evolved as we get scale along the way, trying to use Web3 technology, for example, in partnership with the NFL, to bring gamification and elevate, differentiate, bring some additional value to what consumers are already doing in fantasy, for example. And what we really want to focus on now is loyalty. I'm sure that's a common theme, right? And so it's not about the ideal end state of true decentralization and people understanding the value of digital ownership. That will take time to grow. We just want more data on the blockchain, more wallets, and that will allow for things to grow. I think as brands, we really have to think about the consumer lens and what is it the consumer wants first and foremost, and the technology helps to enable things.
You know, you bring up loyalty, and Starbucks recently launched an NFT project for loyalty for their customers, and it really made sense when I looked at it because they had a loyalty program already. Did you have a loyalty program already at Anheuser-Busch, or are you just kind of aping into Web3 with a new loyalty program?
Well, I think we do. It's called My Cooler, if anyone wants to join the My Cooler program. Although, to be honest, for us, as an alcohol company, there's a lot of different regulations, different things we have to take into account. So we're trying to grow carefully, grow over time. But Web3 will hopefully allow us to sort of leapfrog and address some of the issues that exist with data, proper connection to CDPs, et cetera, et cetera. So we're hoping it can address some existing pain points, and it really is an enabling technology. That's what we're thinking about in terms of like a tokenized economy and marketplace. That makes so much sense, but we're crawl, walk, run, and try to get there.
I love your very customer-centric approach and very holistic approach to the space. So many brands kind of building in Web3 are actually just creating marketing campaigns. It's kind of one-off drops without thinking of it through the kind of product lens. Why do you think that's the case?
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to think about it as a product. You have to know that you're going to have to innovate, bring more value, and I think a lot of that comes with finding ways to bring in more partners and make it a richer experience for consumers. Because when you drop the NFT, everyone will say that's the beginning, right? You can celebrate that moment, but there's so much more to come, and that takes a lot of work. And like I said, we're not looking to create a long tail of NFTs. We're looking to create platforms and products that are meaningful for consumers that they want to continue to engage with time over time. and it's all sounds very ambiguous, and we're working towards it. That's why we have a dedicated team to continue to reinvest in the community, to grow it, to bring additional benefits.
You talk about that dedicated team. Are you looking at any kind of acquisition? We've seen some big brands, scoop up Web3 companies that are already solving some of these problems. Are you thinking about that?
So we do have a different part of the business that looks at ZX Ventures, but it's things that pay back to the future of socializing, right? And so I think it's not our mandate to figure out that aspect of Web3. We are benefiting so much from the evolution and the growth that's happening in the space. We want to explain the pain points that we see to help shine a light on what makes sense to build, but it doesn't necessarily make sense for us to invest directly in that space at this time.
Julie, thank you so much for joining us and helping us explore beer in the metaverse. I didn't think we were going to talk about that today. That was Julie Garneau, Senior Director, Head of NFTs, Blockchain, and Metaverse at Anheuser-Busch.